American Challenge. Here is the transcribed story of one of the most daring and heroic chapters in the history of American war annals, bringing you a great Hollywood all-star cast with Joseph Kearns, Elliott Lewis, Frederick Shields, Howard McNear, Lou Merrill, Fred Mackay, and Norman Field in the dramatic saga of the Lafayette Escadrille. Exploits and the magnificent accomplishments of the Lafayette Escadrille live on forever. Here was a group of 38 daring, plucky young Americans who gathered at the first trumpet call of war and journeyed by cattle boat, tanker, luxury liner, and tramp steamer to answer the greatest challenge to democracy ever heralded. They were the first and only group of organized volunteer active combatants flying and fighting against Germany in World War I. Our story starts not in 1916, but in the year 1940, where the Paris that had been the second home of these lads of the Lafayette Escadrille is witnessing for the first time in its history the marching of foreign soldiers down its wide boulevard.
To think that I should have lived to see this happen to Paris.
Pardon, New York is ready for your talk on the air, Monsieur Stewart.
Okay, set the portable microphone right here. I'll announce this story from the balcony up here.
And now we take you to John Stewart in Paris. Go ahead, Paris.
This is Paris. I'm speaking to you from a balcony facing the Arc de Triomphe, around which is now marching the victorious German army. Above us, the faint streak of bombers are diving in formation. Hitler is putting on his best military show, and what a show it is. Parisians watch in silence. They're stunned. Even the sidewalk cafes are strangely deserted. And when a Frenchman gives up his wine and his table in his favorite cafe, you know that the heart of this great city of Paris is broken. I can't help wondering about one old gentleman who, for 25 years, has been coming to the Chatham Hotel, occupying the same table, sipping his wine precisely at the same hour.
Put down that cane, you old fool. I'll put it down on your head. Army or no army, I'll teach you manners.
Mr. Chalian, please control your temper. Don't understand they will send you to a concentration camp.
Get him out of here or you won't reach the concentration camp.
It's Major Bulkin. What seems to be the trouble here, Sergeant Oka?
This old fool sits here occupying a table big enough for 8 people and won't allow anybody to sit down.
Mr. le Commandant, maybe if I explain about Monsieur Chalian, you will not deal too harshly with him.
What is it?
You see, Monsieur le Commandant, He has been coming here for 25 years. He has been sitting at that same table ordering the wine, talking to no one, looking at all the empty chairs.
Well, that being the case, the old gentleman should be in an insane asylum.
Oh, you do not understand, monsieur. Le Commandant, there isn't anything wrong with him.
What about those empty chairs? What sort of madness is that?
Oh, those are the chairs in which the boys of the Lafayette Escadrille sat in the World War 25 years ago.
He knew the boys in the Lafayette Escadrille?
Yes, every one of them.
I should like to talk to him. Pardon, Herr Schalier. I am sorry about the incident.
Oh. Yes, I'm sorry too, Commandant. You see, I expected something more from soldiers, no matter what flag they fight under.
I am told you knew the pilots of the Lafayette Escadrille.
Yes, I did.
So did my father. Not all of them, mind you, but those he met, he never forgot. You see, he fought against them in the last war. His name was Oswald Burke.
Burke? You are Oswald Burke's son?
Yes.
Well, would you sit down? I'd like you to drink with me.
Thank you, Herr Schalier.
Oh, no, don't sit there, please. There, that seat there.
Dankeschön.
Yes. That was Lufberry's chair. Each one of these chairs belongs to one of those boys. You know, sitting there, Lufberry told me the story of how he fought the great German ace, Oswald Burke. Oh, he was one of the greatest pilots that ever lived. You know, he rarely ever talked. He flew, fought, and died for revenge. He joined the Escadrille on the 24th of May, 1916. One day alone, he started off east of Eton on the Verdun sector, searching the sky for an enemy. There they were, alone in the sky, two great pilots, Oswald Burke and Raoul Lufberry. Roaring through the heavens, these two masters poured deadly streams of hot lead into each other. Back and forth, up and down, round and around they thundered in great surges of speed. Red-hot gun barrels spewed out a ceaseless stream of leaden death. Black holes appeared in Luft's wings. A wire twanged as it snapped. Struts vanished like magic in thin air. There they fought until every slug had been fired. And then, with gestures of mutual respect, they parted. Oh, yes, sir. But that was only one of Raoul Lufberry's great fights.
I am glad you told me that. You see, I never knew my father. My uncle used to tell me great stories of these early pilots.
Oh, and in that chair to the left, Bill Thaw sat. And the boys called him the Iron Man. In the first year of the war, Bill Thaw, Bert Hall, Jimmy Bach, and Raoul Lufberry were together. Here is a story that's so typical of that hard-living, hard-fighting Bill Thaw. Well, on this particular evening, he had gone to Paris for some reason or other.
Now, bartender, I'm going to show you how to mix a cocktail that's going to win the war. You take a half a bottle of brandy and a half a bottle of champagne and mix them up and drink them in one breath.
And what if you run out of breath?
You keep taking breath until you finish it. Now, I want you to make a whole barrel of it and send it down to the boys at the Lafayette Escadrille.
But, Monsieur Thaw, they are 60 miles from Paris. How will we get it there?
Huh? We'll roll it there.
Lieutenant Thaw,
Accounted for. What do you want?
you are ordered to return to headquarters.
Huh? Listen, my fine fella, you tell the brass hats at headquarters they'll have to wait a little while for Bill Thaw, because he's busy rolling a barrel of Lafayette cocktails to his pals in the Escadrille.
Lieutenant Thaw, orders are to fly into Germany for observation only. There's some vital information we must get before the next attack.
But why in this twin-motor Cadron G4?
You sound as if you disapprove of it.
My friend, you will too after you're riding this flying bathtub. Hey, if we come back from across the boss lines in this thing, I'll buy you a drink.
You do not think we will come back?
You ready?
Yes.
Here she goes. Look, Felix, if this little trip of ours fizzles out, I'd like to let you in on a little secret.
Yes? What is it, Lieutenant Thor?
I want you to tell the boys in the Lafayette Escadrille that I found out that 2 parts champagne to 1 part brandy makes a much better cocktail. Well, looks like the boss reception committee's up to greet us.
Where is all the shooting coming from?
Right now from those batteries below. Any minute it'll be from some of those bosses up above.
What are we going to do?
Can you sing?
Yes, a little.
Well, let's get together on a good number.
Well, Lieutenant, this is no time to sing.
No? Well, what do you suggest?
Well, why don't we turn back?
We will. As soon as we get the information you want. There goes the fabric of the plane. Those wings look like confetti, huh? Well, looks like those boys mean business. 4 trucks just went up.
It's just about time for that song, isn't it?
Huh? Okay. I'll sing bass and you sing tenor. You'll have to sing loud to be heard over these motors.
And that was the way the Iron Man Bill Thor flew a plane.
What happened?
Well, the ship was so shot up that it was junked on its return. But that same day, Thor went up again twice. Oh, yes. And in that chair next to him, directly opposite me, used to sit Clyde Balsley. He was a sunny dispositioned ex-ambulance driver from Texas. He came over to England on a mule boat to sign up for the English Army. They told him he would have to drop his American citizenship. That was too much for Balsley. So he hopped across the channel and joined up with the ambulance service. And then he pulled strings and was transferred to the Paris Air Guard, where he learned his flying. You know, his escape from death was one of the closest of any aviator during the war. Well, on June 18th, 1916, orders were given for a dawn patrol. And see, there was Captain Tano, Norman Prince, Kiffin Rockwell, and Clyde Balsley. Oh, matter of fact, all these years I've carried with me Clyde Balsley's letter, which he so graphically told the unforgettable story of this dawn patrol. Would you like to see it?
I certainly would.
I've read it a great many times. It's quite battered and torn. Listen. The night mist was still thick on the ground, and the 4 ships were lined up in front of the hangar in the faint light of dawn.
Flying a 13-meter Newport with 47-shot Lewis guns mounted on the top wing, spotted a German across Hill 305. Pulling up close to Captain Tano, I flipped my aileron. Then I began to watch my man. I decided to pick him off. Diving steeply, I swung to the left to get in line. Down I dove. When I came closer, I thought it was a Bosch. I held my fire. Came closer. Machine gunner was in his seat. I fired. Then my machine gun jammed. I was completely surrounded. I was too far behind the German lines to dive to earth. So I pulled up for a reinforcement. Bullets splattered my wings. Then something struck me like the kick of a mule. My rudder went out of control and I went into a spin. I kept thinking. Soon I'd hit the ground as so many of my friends had before. And that would be all. And suddenly, something came thundering through my brain, and a voice kept shouting,
Keep going, Clyde. Keep going. You can make it. Here's the chance. Don't quit.
My mind cleared. My feet strapped to the rudder bar, straightened it up. My ship was coming out. Spinning slowed. I pulled heavily on the stick. I leveled out. I worked my rudder and slid into the field. The time kicked in, and too late I saw the field was strewn with barbed wire. The plane crashed in the wire. Gasoline was choking me. I broke my belt, crawled on my knees to get away from the oncoming explosion. Suddenly, a great burst of shelling. The barge was shelling my Newport. And then I saw the blue helmets of the French. 4 of them came toward me and pulled me through the wire.
Yes, that was the story of Clyde Balsley, the first American aviator to be wounded in World War #1.
And what happened to him?
Well, he still lives in America. Out in Hollywood, they say.
But what of the others? Who sat there? There. And to my right.
Well, right over there, next to Balsley's chair, sat Victor Chapman. Incidentally, you know your father, Captain Bulke, fought Chapman in his second-last battle. I remember his telling me about the flashing personal insignia of the famous Captain Bulke. Yes, despite the searing horrors of war, his artistic soul was able to see the beauty in anything. In the shell-torn earth, in villages, in a sea of clouds. Victor Chapman was the best-beloved pilot of the Escadrille Americaine. Well, when he learned that Clyde Balsley was brought down over Verdun and carried to the hospital, he set out for there at once. Oh, they were great pals, Balsley and Chapman.
Dear pilot, you cannot land on the hospital ground.
Well, listen, my good man, and next time I'll land on your head. Where will I find Clyde Balsley, the American pilot who was brought in here yesterday?
The American pilot? Oh, yes. They come this way. There he is, monsieur. In that second bed. The doctor is standing by him.
Doctor, how is he?
Well, not so good. A gun-down bullet exploded in his side. I've just taken 6 pieces of the bullet out of his hip. I'll wager there's 40 more.
Could I talk to him?
Yes, but not very long. It's very high fever.
Thank you, Doctor. Hey, Clyde, how do you feel?
Oh, hello, Victor. Can't you get me out of here? I've got some flying to do.
Well, the doctor thinks you ought to rest for a little while.
What do I want to rest for? There's a war going on.
Yeah, but I talked to Tano into letting me work your shift. And, sort of keeping things organized till you get back. Anything I can get you?
Well, they don't give me any water. They just scout a piece of muslin and let me suck on it.
How'd you like some oranges?
Oranges would be fine.
Well, I'll arrange it. You just lay quiet and take it easy. I'll talk to the doctor. Hey, Doc, would it be all right to bring some oranges to Balsley?
I don't think he should. He's burning up with fever. We must be careful.
Look, Doc, out where he comes from, oranges grow like grass. He ought to have some.
Oh, very well. But where will you get them? We have no oranges here.
I'll get them if I have to fly to Paris.
And you have my permission.
Thanks, Doc. And while I'm at it, I'll bring you back a bottle of champagne.
Hey, Victor, where are you going?
On patrol duty?
No, I've got a little errand up at Wadlingcourt.
A lady?
Oh, no, I'm bringing some oranges to Clyde Balsley.
Got to have oranges, you know.
Oh. Give him my best, will you? And tell him to hurry up and get well.
Sure will, Bill. I think I'll follow Tano, Lafayette, and Prince on the way over to Wadlingcourt. I'll see you later.
And just as Chapman had taken off, the regular patrol spotted 2 LVG ships. Tano signaled for an attack, and the 3 Newports sliced in for a kill. They quickly found themselves in a jam. There were 3 escort Fokkers overhead, and they plunged in on the boys. Chapman, some distance behind, saw their predicament and hurtled in to help them. Chapman was fighting 5 planes single-handed. You see, the other 3, Tano, Lufberry, and Prince, had no idea that he was flying above them, and they fought themselves out of the trap and maneuvered their way back to the French lines. But Chapman never came back, and Balsley never got his oranges. And strangely enough, Chapman was buried in full honors by the Germans under the name of Clyde Balsley. You see, he had a letter on him addressed to Balsley, and the Germans took it for granted that the aviator was Clyde Balsley. Kiffin Rockwell, who was Chapman's best friend, wrote to Victor Chapman's parents a great, eloquent letter.
He died a glorious death, and at the most glorious time of life to die, especially for him with his ideal. I have never once regretted it for him, because I know that he was willing and satisfied to give his life that way. But he had no fear of death, and knew there is nothing to fear in death. You must not feel sorry, but proud and happy.
And the beloved Chapman deserves every tribute that can be paid to a splendid lad and a valiant flyer.
You mentioned this Kiffin Rockwell. Was he a member of the Escadrille?
Oh, yes, very much so. You see, Rockwell was a medical student, and he came over and volunteered his services as an intern in the French hospitals. When Rockwell joined the Escadrille, in addition to Tainol and Delage, you see, there was Bill Thor, Norman Prince, Bert Hall, Loughberry, Masson, Dudley Hill, Pavelka, Johnson, and Rumsey. You know, there was another American named Jim McConnell who was in the hospital at the time. Rockwell was the first American to offer his services to France. He was the first pilot to down an enemy plane in the Escadrille, and the first to be decorated with the Médaille Militaire. Oh, he had the spirit of a great challenge. When Rockwell was in the air, no German passed, and he was in the air most of the time. Oh, these Americans had an amazing sense of humor. The laughter was as big and as clear as their love of battle. I remember it was early in September. After many months at Verdun, the Lafayette Escadrille was ordered to go to Paris to get new machines. Well, while waiting for their ships, they made their rounds of their favorite bars.
Gentlemen, I have made an astounding purchase.
Bring it in, Luff. Let's see if it's worth it.
Here he is. There is the new mascot of the Escadrille.
Why, it's a lion! You better put him behind bars, Luff. Why put him behind bars? He'll see all the bars he needs traveling with this mob.
Hey, look what's coming through the door. Bill Thaw and Ted Parsons and another mascot.
Gentlemen, we give you the pet of the prairie state.
Take it out of here. Do you want the whole Escadrille to retreat?
Aha! The only housebroken skunk in all France.
Oh, boy, let me out
Yes, and there was another one who sat to the right of me. He was a great pilot and had the courage of a lion. His name was Norman Prince. Death rode like a grinning ape on his shoulder for 9 months. Day after day, he had come back with his ship nearly torn to pieces by shrapnel. In the early days, he used to fly those bombers that moved through the air like crates. Oh, they were clumsy ships, hard to maneuver, and an easy target for the ground gunners. The story that I shall never forget about Norman Prince was the story of his flying with Loughberry on October 10th, 1916. They went over the German aviation field at Hobsheim. They circled low, daring the Boche aviators to come up.
Come on, baby. Show those Boche fighters how you got it all over them. Get him, Loughberry. Get him, boy. Control those focus. They're heading for Loughberry. Here we go. We'll break them up. Good old Loughberry. He's in the clear. Quick start, huh? Running out of gas. Well, here we go, baby. Gonna dive. And glide for the emergency field of courses. Don't bother with me, boys. I'm done for. You'd better spread some
gasoline flares on the field. There's another fellow coming down. Don't let him break himself up like I've done. Well, I'll be seeing you, boys. Happy landings.
So, you see, my boy, a hero sat in each one of these chairs at this table. The glorious accomplishments of the Lafayette Escadrille will forever remain imperishable. Well, I want to thank you, Commandant, for allowing me to sit here and have my wine and my memories. I'm afraid that I won't be coming back anymore. You see, the Paris I knew and loved is dead.
And so they all pass before us, that heroic legion of magnificent youth, those audacious young eagles who spread their shaky wings in flaming war-torn skies. Rayo Lufberry, Victor Chapman, Kiffin Rockwell, James McConnell, Clyde Balsley, Norman Prince, Paul Pavelka, and all those others, many of whom have now found happy landings beyond any mortal battlefield. Of the original 38, only 18 are left. And it's a real thrill to tell you that Captain Clyde Balsley, he whom you just heard as the first of them all to be shot down, is right here in the studio with us tonight. We present Captain Clyde Balsley. Tell us, Captain Balsley, what do you think of the new big fighter planes they're building now? How would you like to be flying one of them?
Well, it would certainly be a pleasure, but there's a big difference between them and the ones we flew. I doubt if I'd know how to handle these new miracles.
Well, how do you think your old pals, the flyers of the Lafayette Escadrille, would feel about the fall of France, Captain?
I feel that they'd say to a man, as I say now, the perspective of the great writer of history is a broad one, and no matter what may happen temporarily, there will always be a France.
I'm sure there are many millions who agree with you, Captain Balsley, and thank you for your invaluable help in preparing this all-too-short salute to that valiant group, the Lafayette Escadrille. Transcribed episode of The American Challenge was written by John Slott and directed by J. Donald Wilson. Original music was composed and conducted by Felix Mills. Listen again at this same time next week for The American Challenge.